This is Distictis buccinatoria, blood red trumpet vine. And where you're seeing this is in San Luis Obispo, California. You're also going to see some shots in Santa Barbara, California. And as you can see, this is a very long vine. It's an evergreen flowering vine. The name describes the flowers, which are 3 to 4 inch long red trumpets with a yellowish throat. And here it is over an archway in Santa Barbara in a commercial property. And this is used because it's a nice colorful way to soften and accent architecture. And also it's a nice way to provide color over a long period of time. Where these are used, where I already mentioned, these bloom much of the year, although these these photos were taken in early April. And so that's when they're really doing a big display, is in early April, and they will continue to bloom when they're getting shots of warmth after colder spells. So they're going to be blooming most of the warmer season and not so much in the winter. Now I have this plant. I'm in a warm inland valley in Northern California, although in the winter it does freeze here, and I have terrible luck with this plant blooming. It's still alive, and this winter it got down around 25 degrees Fahrenheit a few times, and the plant survived. And I think this is rated down to about 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That said, I am a little at a loss to understand what causes it to bloom or not. Mine is about 3 years old and has not bloomed well. That said, down in coastal areas like San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara and Los Angeles, I always see this thing blooming quite a bit. So I think if you put it in an area where it's a little milder, you're going to get better results out of it. This is a Mexican native, and I would think that more moderate temperatures are probably what it favors. Maybe our cold is just enough to really make it not happy. I don't know. Secondly, mine shows stress in terms of being chlorotic and yellow, so not as green as the ones you're seeing here. So the way I see using this in design, one of these, as you can see, both of these are big climbers. If you look at the base of this plant right here, you probably have a 2 to 3 inch diameter trunk on this very large vine. This thing is at least 20 to 30 feet long and tall. And the other part too is because it's such a vigorous grower, it's a good idea to be able to go in and thin this out every couple of years. If you look at the trunk on that thing right there, it's at least 3 to 4 inches in diameter with multiple trunks. So you want to plan for that in your design. These climb by little tendrils. That it has kind of a semi-woody to woody stem, but it holds on to things with tendrils, so you would need to provide some kind of support. I use wire on my wall and it holds on to that just fine. And then you don't need a lot of these. The other way I see these used, and you're going to see in just a moment, is you're going to see that this is on a chain link fence and it's filled it in, and I've seen that done a few times too. So right here, this is a chain link fence actually next to a freeway, and it's nice. It totally fills it in and you get the green fence effect, and works very well. Doesn't require a lot of maintenance. So I'd say for it to look its best every few years, to come in and kind of thin out the dead undergrowth is a good idea. But other than that, this is a low maintenance vine only if you give it a place to climb on. Otherwise, it's just going to keep rambling and get into trouble. These prefer full sun. They are drought tolerant once they're established, and they prefer sandy, kind of well-drained soils to do their best. And that is Distictis buccinatoria, blood red trumpet vine.